Towards Anthony again, and a good ball in field to Brooks, who is shoved over by Luke Shaw. Welcome back to the Premier League.
I'm just wondering what system Bournemouth going to play nice, like they're going to 4-2-3-1 with the fullbacks Adam Smith and Lloyd Kelly. Adam Smith on the right fullback position, Lloyd Kelly on the left, and Jefferson Lerma, Lewis Cook as the two centre midfield players, with Jaden Ante on the left-hand side of the three. Looks like Ryan Christie is going to play in that 10 position, just behind Dominic Solanke, with David Brooks on the right.
And Salford have equalised at Edgeley Park in that League Two playoff semi-final with 9 minutes to play. So 2-1 they lead on aggregate there. Here is Lerma coming forward. Wide to this near side for Bournemouth, and Solanke once again. Anthony down the Bournemouth left, slid in towards Brooks on the edge of the penalty area, given the room to turn. He's found Solanke, then Brooks continues the run down the left, fires the cross into the penalty area, which takes a deflection off Anthony, back onto Brooks, and it will be a corner kick. Nearly 2 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, and it's 0-0 at the Vitality Stadium.
Nice, that all started from, I know David De Gea's been getting a lot of stickers because he's not very good with the ball at his feet. When the ball was rolled back to him by Varane, David De Gea's trying to put his foot through it, and he couldn't even make the halfway line. He puts it straight into Jefferson Lerma, he transfers to David Brooks, and then into Solanke. Bournemouth win possession back.
2 minutes played. Bournemouth coming forward again with Lerma on this near side, cuts in field looking for Christie, but it's won back by Eriksson. United look to break. Martial lays it back to Bruno Fernandes on this near side. Stephen Mallon with that late equaliser in extra time for Salford City. Commentary continues on the TalkSport app. Download the app and you can swipe between that game, Bradford against Carlisle at Brunton Park, the second leg of that semi-final, and also this game, all underway across the TalkSport network now, with Game Day Live with Adrian Durham live from Anfield. Big day there with Liverpool taking on Villa, and that 3-1 win for Brentford earlier has brought them back into the chase for the Conference League, although they played Manchester City on the final day of the season.
There's another manager who should have got a mention in dispatches, Thomas Frank, the job that he's done at Brentford.
Absolutely.
With all the consternation of with Ivan Toney, you know what was going around there. And then Brentford have proved, obviously, that they can win without Ivan Toney, with Werner getting a couple of goals.
But United starting this game a point clear of Liverpool. They still have a game in hand, live on TalkSport on Thursday at Old Trafford, when they will take on Chelsea. And then they play Fulham on the final day of the season. Liverpool will play Southampton away on the final day. Southampton's farewell to the Premier League for now. 3.5 minutes played here. Neto taking his time to work the ball out deep inside the 6-yard area for Bournemouth, but he plays it wide to the far side, and Jack Stacey, who has been used very sparingly this season, wide towards the far side, and Brooks, who looks to take on Eriksson, but it's quickly won back, and in the end Eriksson will go all the way back towards Varane again, who brings it over the halfway line. Stockport have equalised on aggregate with a few moments to go at Edgeley Park. They lead 2-1 on the day, 2-2 on aggregate there, so that could be heading for penalties live on the TalkSport app. The playoffs have been absolutely tremendous this season, as Casemiro lets fly from about 30 yards out, and it's about 40 yards wide.
Yeah, it's just Bruno Fernandes. He's got that free roll in the 10 position. He's turned up on this right hand side, then he's over on the left. He just rolls it into Casemiro. They said there he's more like a conversion, really, wasn't it, in rugby union than a shot. So Casemiro's just got to make sure that he just ticks the ball over. You've got to know your limitations.
United looking to build again on the far side with Martial. Sancho maybe thought he was offside, so he checked his run. It's back to Bruno Fernandes, and now Shaw. Bruno Fernandes again, left foot shot from him, and it's another conversion.
That was a bit of a flatter conversion, to be fair. Nice, wasn't it? So just coming out to Fernandes, just trying to chest Neto from like long range. Bournemouth trying to still play the ball out from the back. The two centre halves dropping actually behind Neto. In the end, Manchester United put the press on through Martial, and then Neto has to go long.
Jack Stretton, who came off the bench for Stockport, equalising with 5 minutes to play at Edgeley Park. They lead Salford 2-1, 2-2 on aggregate, and they are heading for a penalty shootout there. The League Two final live on TalkSport 2, 1:30 next Sunday before the conclusion of the Premier League season. Bournemouth in the sunshine here on a lovely day on the south coast, but they've given the ball away. Eriksson coming forward now, square to Bruno Fernandes on the right foot, poked further wide to Wan-Bissaka, who tries to cut it back, but his run was tracked by Jadon Anthony. And now Lerma will try and slide the ball forward up towards the halfway line, but it's run out of play by Christie, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester United. Just in front of us here, down their right-hand side, attacking the goal away to our right.
Yeah, it was slick passing from Manchester United. All started because David Brooks, who's coming in for that right-hand side, got caught on the ball by Luke Shaw, then just plays it into Fernandes. It's a great run from Anthony from this right-hand side diagonally to leave the space for Wan-Bissaka on the outside. Fernandes rolled it to him, but Wan-Bissaka couldn't quite pick the right pass.
Now Anthony again, being marked by Jadon Anthony today, which is not great for us, as it's played wide by Martial towards Wan-Bissaka. Anthony now takes over once again, and Wan-Bissaka comes back in field. And here is Varane. Bournemouth have everybody back behind the ball, midway inside their own half. Martial shrugs off the challenge of Senesi, but the Argentinian does well to lunge in and win the ball back, and as it comes back to him quickly, he jabs it wide to the far side and clears, but Luke Shaw will gather for Manchester United. And it's still goalless here on TalkSport 2 in the Premier League. 7 minutes played at the Vitality Stadium, and it's still goalless elsewhere in the Premier League as well, although Brentford won 3-1 at Spurs, coming from behind earlier on today. Wouldn't like to be a Spurs player on the lap of appreciation there today.
Not been funny, Nigel. Wouldn't be doing one. I know, just have a quick clap from the centre circle and get out of Dodge lively. Why would you want to go on a lap of appreciation when you haven't done anything for the fans to appreciate you?
Lap of indifference.
Exactly, yeah. Mediocrity.
Now an opportunity for United to come forward again. It's flicked wide by Shaw, and it's cut back by Sancho. Looking for Shaw again, but it's cleared away by Cook. But United have it with Eriksson. The high ball into the penalty. Casemiro with an acrobatic volley. And what a goal for Manchester United. And of all people, it's Casemiro who comes up with a sort of finish made famous by Cristiano Ronaldo. And United remain firmly on course for the Champions League. 8 minutes played. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Nigel, what a finish from Casemiro. You'd think that would be the other way round, with Casemiro being a little bit deeper, Eriksson making a run into the box. So Casemiro has made a blindside run from deep from the midfield area. He's got away from his marker, and it's a great little chip ball from Christian Eriksen. There's no pressure on him whatsoever. Just takes a little touch off of Senesi, and then as the ball gets flicked up into the air, Casemiro acrobatically, as you said there, with his overhead kick, just fantastic athleticism, gives Neto absolutely no chance. What a finish from Casemiro.
Well, his last Premier League goal came against Bournemouth at Old Trafford just after the World Cup. And Senesi teed it up for him nicely, but then Casemiro just had to twist and turn and get the ball onto his right foot, and he hammered it high above Neto. And Manchester United, who've had problems on the road this season, 8 away defeats in the Premier League, but they lead here, and they've had the ideal start. 9.5 minutes played, and Bournemouth have won only 2 of the previous 11 meetings. And the last victory came in their relegation season back in November of 2019, when Josh King scored the only goal. But United usually win here, and they're ahead here already on TalkSport 2. And you can hear the United fans in great voice on the far side. And already, we have to say, Perry, Bournemouth look like a team with 5 changes. Not on the beach, but a team which is maybe trying to offer signs for next season.
Yeah, there's just no fluidity in their passing. They keep giving the ball away. Manchester United have dominated possession. And in these days of over-analysing, Nigel, the stats, I like to see how many times Casemiro has gone in the opposition 6-yard box in free play. To say that was totally sort of off-piste for Manchester United, with Eriksen being the deeper player. I think he caught Bournemouth by surprise.
The 70th goal that Bournemouth have conceded this season. Only Leeds on 71 have let more in the Premier League. Now Eriksen once again, and United have really come out here for business today.
Yeah, they're just dominating possession. Just Bournemouth retreating into their own half, going into more of a 4-5-1 formation, but they're not actually putting any pressure on the ball.
Now Sancho on the left corner of the penalty area. On the far side, he will try and take on Brooks. Sancho has got support all around him. In the end, goes back to Bruno Fernandes. Slid low towards Eriksen, but it's cut out by Solanke. And Solanke will try and lead the counter-attack from a very deep area here. 11 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Casemiro scoring the sort of goal that a more expansive player, let's say, would have been proud of. And he's on the ball again now in a more traditional vein, just jabbing it wide to Anthony on this near side. And United have lost only one of the previous 36 games in the Premier League in which they've taken the lead. And that was their 101st goal in all competitions this season. But now Casemiro, briefly robbed by Christian on this near side, but the Scottish international runs it out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester United.
You mentioned Ryan Christie there, closing Casemiro down just for 5 minutes, because Manchester United are starting to dominate and get into a bit of rhythm. Just say to Ryan Christie, you go on to Casemiro, either Jefferson Lerma or Lewis Cook, you go on to Christian Eriksen, just to stop Manchester United from dominating. Because when Bournemouth get in possession, to be fair to Manchester United, they've got their three up front. They're not dropping too deep, just the centre halves around the Lindelof, just on the edge of the centre circle. So it's all very compact from Manchester United at the moment.
Into added time at Edgeley Park. Stockport leading Salford 2-1 on the day, 2-2 on aggregate over on the TalkSport app. They are heading for penalties at the moment. Still goalless in the early stages at Brunton Park between Carlisle and Bradford. Bradford 1 up from the first leg. Now a Bournemouth attack is broken up on the edge of the penalty area on the far side, but Sancho unable to receive the ball out of defence from Bruno Fernandes, and Bournemouth will have a throw-in on the far side.
Yeah, it was decent link-up play from Bournemouth, with David Brooks just coming inverted, just releasing Adam Smith, who'd gone on the underlap. But to be fair to Lindelof, he followed the run of Adam Smith and managed just to nick the ball off of him. 13 minutes played, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1 here on TalkSport 2. Game day live from the Vitality Stadium in the sunshine, as Solanke looks to try and win a loose ball on the edge of the penalty area, but it spins away from him and goes behind for a goal kick. I think Bournemouth's problems at home, Nige, to be fair, is conceding goals. That's now this one clean sheet in the last 11 Premier League home games. I saw them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where they're outstanding. I think it suits them away from home, you know, where they can hit teams on the counter-attack. So just sort of lack that little bit of creativity. And obviously the Casemiro goal was put them bang under pressure. Well,
they picked up their points in the main against sides around them. 39 points in total as Anthony gathers on this near side, but he's quickly closed down by Kelly, and United will have a throw-in. 19 of Bournemouth's 39 points have come in 9 games against the current bottom 5, so they've done what they've had to do this season. Maybe they've targeted games, and they are safe at a time when so many others are sweating, so many bigger clubs are sweating. Now Lindelof, wide to Shaw on the far side. Many of the United fans are having to shield their eyes from the sun here. It's not particularly warm in the shade of the main stand here, but if you're in the sunshine out on that far side, it'll be an early taste of summer.
There's a few with the old ombre slayer on Nige as well, isn't there? With a,
there's a few regretting not putting it on. There'll be a couple of United fans lobster red by the end of today. They'll be doing what's known as a Perry Groves.
I have to put mine on in the shade. Factor 97 and a bin bag and a balaclava.
What you do in your own time, Perry, is your business. Here is Casemiro now on the far side for Manchester United, leading here with 15 minutes played by a 0-0. And what's already been a dramatic day in the Premier League, with Tottenham losing at home once again. Stockport against Salford is going to penalties. Over on the app, 2-2 on aggregate at the end of that match between two rivals from Greater Manchester. The biggest club in Greater Manchester are winning here by a 0-0. As Adam Smith brings it forward now for Bournemouth on the far side. Infield to Lewis Cook. Two of the players brought in today. And there are a couple of teenagers, Dominic Sardi and Daniel Adu-Adje, also on the bench. And there may be a glimpse of the future for Bournemouth here today at some stage. As Solanke on the edge of the penalty area tries to fasten onto a ball from Christie, but it's cut out again.
We were just saying where Bournemouth have to improve at home. That's a typical example. It comes into Christie, tries to just flick it round the corner, Solanke, and gives the ball away.
Now Martial in full flight on the far side, cuts in field, but his shot has been blocked by Cook. But United keep the ball in play. Here is Bruno Fernandes in towards Martial once again. And it's all the way back towards Lindelof. And here is Christian Eriksen, who has been very busy in the opening 16 minutes here. But the ball doesn't stick this time with Sancho, and it's cleared away by Lloyd Kelly, playing as the left back here today. Anthony in towards Sancho again. And now Wan-Bissaka. And I would never say that a team leading 1-0 are in total control, but United are pretty close to that.
Yeah, look, very, very comfortable. I say in possession Bournemouth are the architects of their own downfall, because they give the ball away a bit too cheaply. And that's the one thing that you can't do when you've got players as good on the ball as Christian Eriksen and Casemiro. Manchester United actually at the moment just look like they're enjoying themselves. Sancho's come over to this right-hand side, just trying to get involved. Bruno Fernandes gone over onto the left wing, so it's good rotation from Manchester United at the moment.
Casemiro in towards Sancho on the edge of the penalty area, back towards Martial, but he was never quite set to receive that ball. It pinball between his legs, and eventually Bournemouth will clear on the far side, but they still trail here by a 0-0 on TalkSport 2 with 18 minutes played. Now Sancho, left-hand side of the penalty area, back towards Wan-Bissaka. Left foot shot from him. What was he doing there? But it's blocked by Jadon Anthony.
That's what I said about Manchester United enjoying themselves, Nige. Wan-Bissaka's made a run from the right-back position, end up in the inside left position, and as the ball come back from Sancho, he should have hit it first time with his left foot. Because he's not used to being there, he had a bit of a nosebleed, he took a touch.
Now Martial on the edge of the penalty area, but he's challenged by Zabarnyi, the young Ukrainian signed from Dynamo Kyiv. And here is Eriksen once again. United leading here by a 0-0. They need 2 victories from 3 games at the end of the season to guarantee a top 4 place, irrespective of what Liverpool do. They're currently 0-0 today at home to Aston Villa. And you're listening to Bournemouth against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 with Now Sports. And don't forget that with Now Sports, you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, live today for $11.99 with no contract. Search Now Sports. And the possession stats here at the moment for Bournemouth will be very, very ugly.
At the moment, Nigel, it looks like a practice match. Manchester United are the first team, Bournemouth are the reserves, and they've been told not to tackle the first team. Just drop back into your own half, let the first team get into the rhythm. Very, very comfortable. So that's the worst thing you can say if you're the home team about the away team. The away team actually look like they're enjoying themselves.
Well, United have had 65% possession so far in the game, all of the shots. Penalties are now underway over on the TalkSport app at Edgeley Park between Stockport and Salford for a place in the League Two playoff final. Still goalless at Brunton Park between Carlisle and Bradford. Mark Hughes' team 1 up from the first leg at Valley Parade last Sunday. Now Martial once again. Manchester United leading here with 20 minutes played. On TalkSport 2, Wan-Bissaka in central midfield now. Bruno Fernandes wide towards Anthony. He can attack the penalty area. Comes in field. It's left by Bruno Fernandes, and the shot over the top from Christian Eriksen, but it's exhibition stuff.
He's mentioned there about Wan-Bissaka. He's going playing the Trent Alexander-Arnold position. Nice there, wasn't he? Just come in inverted. He's been on the overlap a couple of times. There's a great little over there from Christian Eriksen. But Manchester United shooting from long range has been very, very poor. But now it's Fernandes trying to put Neto under pressure.
Now Zabarnyi clears downfield again. Brooks will try and win it back for Bournemouth, but they barely had a kick inside the United half with 20 minutes played here. United leading by a 1-0 thanks to Casemiro's goal. Don't forget, Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. All the goals as they go in over on TalkSport. More exclusive Premier League commentary coming up on Monday night. Game night live from St James's Park. Newcastle against Leicester. On Wednesday night, we have Brighton against Manchester City on TalkSport. Then on Thursday, we're at Old Trafford for Manchester United against Chelsea, as Anthony goes down on this near side and will receive treatment. And what a weekend coming up in 7 days' time. On Saturday, we have Coventry against Luton, live and exclusive to national radio on TalkSport. The Championship playoff final for a place in the Premier League. Then on Sunday, the League Two playoff final will be live on TalkSport 2 at 1:30. And there will be Premier League commentaries across TalkSport and TalkSport 2 on the final day of the season at 4:30. And then on Monday, the bank holiday Monday, it is Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley. The League One playoff final, two South Yorkshire rivals, of course. Sheffield Wednesday with that historic victory against Peterborough. And Kitchen sinks Bolton last night as Liam Kitchen scored the only goal for Barnsley.
Nigel, just had a coming together of the two Anthonys. Obviously, Jadon Anthony against Anthony. There was a slight brush in Anthony's side. I think he's actually going to get a Tony Award for acting. Because he just rolled. He just
see
rolled,
what you've done there.
I'm here all week. He just rolled along the floor, signalling to Chris Kavanagh that I'm hurt, I've been hit in the ribs. If you're hurt, you don't move. Do you know what I mean? And you guarantee, even now he's sort of milking it, saying, oh no, look, he's just touched me on my sort of second rib. I actually just find that embarrassing. It's just, get up, it's coming together, it's nothing at all. And now he's still holding his rib. Perhaps I'm too old school.
Well, he's back in the action now, Anthony, on this near side. Well, Chris Kavanagh will be hoping it's a quieter game today than his previous match involving Manchester United. No, a rainbow flick from Anthony, trying to evade Lloyd Kelly, and in the end, Kelly goes to ground, and Jadon Anthony is able to clear. Carlisle 1, Bradford 0 in the League Two playoffs. Brad Halliday has levelled the aggregate scores over on the TalkSport app at Brunton Park.
Well, to be fair to Anthony there, that was very, very brave, considering he's got 2 broken ribs. He said he's tried the rainbow flick over his similarly named Jadon Anthony. It didn't work. Right, I'm going to leave Anthony alone now, Nigel. I'm just going to let that go out of my mind.
Well, Stockport at the moment are on the way to winning that shootout. Salford have missed 3 of their first 4 penalties, and Stockport lead 2-1. They've scored 2 of their first 3, but they are on the verge of heading through to the final as it stands. Here in the Premier League at the Vitality Stadium, 24 minutes played. Manchester United leading here by a 1-0. Stockport have beaten Salford in the penalty shootout, so their dream of back-to-back promotions, having come back into the Football League last season, is still alive. And Salford will be in League Two again next season, so Stockport will be playing at Wembley next Sunday, live on TalkSport 2, 1:30 kickoff. Stockport winning 3-1 on penalties, as the cross into the penalty area from Jadon Anthony on this near side for Bournemouth bounces harmlessly into the arms of David De Gea.
Yeah, the problem for Bournemouth there was Dominic Slanky got involved in the build-up play. And, as you said there, as Anthony whipped the ball into the penalty area, there's no Bournemouth players anywhere near.
Zabarnyi cuts out a through ball from Bruno Fernandes, and now Senesi Forward towards Christie. Senesi again with the ball over the top. Brooks has got the opportunity to bring the ball down and come in field away from Varane. He's then challenged by Casemiro, but Chris Kavanagh allows play to continue. Chris Kavanagh was in charge of that FA Cup tie at Old Trafford between Manchester United and Fulham when he sent off Willian, Mitrovic and Marco Silva, so he'll be hoping for a quieter day here today. Now Lerma. 25.5 minutes played here at the Vitality Stadium on a beautiful day. Some puffy white clouds and plenty of blue sky overhead. It'll be pretty warm out in the sun. There's a flick from Solanke, doesn't quite fall for Brooks on the edge of the penalty area, and United now can break with Bruno Fernandes over the halfway line. He's got support from Sanchez to his left, but it's back towards Eriksson. Now Shaw on the edge of the penalty area, left foot shot from him, pings into the body of Zabarnyi, and Solanke will bring the ball down again on the edge of his own penalty area, scoops it forward for Christie. Solanke continues his run down the centre, but Bournemouth again have nothing in attack whatsoever because Solanke is having to come so deep.
Exactly, he's coming deep just to try and link up the play and hold the ball up. If that happens, then you've got to get runners beyond him. To be fair to David Brooks, he's trying to get himself involved, coming in off that right flank, going a little bit more central, but then it gets a bit too congested in there for Bournemouth because he's running onto Ryan Christie. Ryan Christie then has to go out onto the right-hand side, see if he can create Man United a few more problems.
Now Solanke back towards Lerma again. Arcing ball from him, wide towards the far side, and Adam Smith has got the opportunity to clip it into the penalty area. Solanke will gather inside the penalty area, challenged by Wan-Bissaka, but Solanke wins it back and fires in a shot which is turned aside superbly by De Gea, and Bournemouth, after being under so much pressure, almost come up with the equaliser.
Yeah, initially it was a fantastic ball from Adam Smith from the right-hand side, just picked out the run of Dominic Solanke. If he gets a better touch now his first time and he just gets it out of his feet, he gets his shot 1v1 with David De Gea, he actually takes a poor touch and has to come back onto his right foot. Brilliant save low down to his left-hand side from David De Gea.
But Bournemouth gaining confidence now. Lerma again has got support from Brooks, an excellent ball from him, wide to the far side. Smith can break into the penalty area, low ball into the near post, but this time it's cut out and Sancho will keep the ball in play on the far side, and United will look to bring the ball forward themselves with Martial. Wide towards Sancho again, down the United left. He will take on Brooks, who had hold of his shirt but shrugs him off, and now Martial with a slaloming run up towards the edge of the penalty area beyond a couple of challenges. Back towards Sancho again, and Martial gets warm applause from United fans on the far side as Aston Villa take the lead at Anfield. Jacob Ramsey with the opening goal there, so if Villa win there today, United can clinch Champions League football here.
Second goal in a week, is it, for Jacob Ramsey? Saw him score a fantastic goal against Spurs last week.
Now Anthony looking for Wan-Bissaka, but it's cleared away by Jadon Anthony up to the halfway line. The state of play at the top of the league before kick-off: Manchester City 85, Arsenal 81, of course, playing Nottingham Forest later on. Newcastle 69 points. They play Leicester live on TalkSport on Monday. Manchester United 66 points and Liverpool 65 points. And United with a game in hand, Chelsea at home live on TalkSport on Thursday. Now Shaw on the far side for Manchester United, and they've had their warning from Dominic Solanke that a 1-0 lead is always a tenuous lead. And it's currently Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. For the latest odds, head to 888 Sport, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now, you can get Bournemouth to win at 14-1, the draw at 11-2, Manchester United to win at 6-1 on. All thanks to 888 Sport, made to challenge, made to debate, made to play. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Just looking at Manchester United. No, just looking at Aaron Wan-Bissaka, he's actually now playing in the centre-forward position, so he's sort of drifted into that inverted midfield position from right back, and now he's just been very, very good for Bournemouth since signing in January at left back. Also, you've got Kiefer Moore, gives you another option up front. Ouattara obviously has been very, very good for Bournemouth in the wide positions, and they just need more of a threat going forward because they've been far too passive in that area.
Good ball forward from Senesi to find Jadon Anthony attacking down the Bournemouth left-hand side. He's got support from Christie, who then has to check his run to stay onside and almost slips. But Christie on the ball now, supported by Kelly, playing as the left-back today. Now Lerma once again, square into the sunshine for Cook. And United dropping very, very deep here. Ilya Zabarnyi has so much time on the ball. Both of the Bournemouth central defenders are inside the United half at the moment. 31 minutes played on TalkSport 2. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Taken down well by Smith. Down the right-hand side, cutting field to David Brooks. Shimmies into the penalty area. Right foot shot from him, though, maybe just lacked conviction. And it's cleared away by Varane. But it's quickly won back. And then a foul on Zabarnyi. About 25 yards out, right of centre. And an opportunity here for Bournemouth from a set piece.
Nigel, we said earlier that Manchester United had been poor away from home, lost at 8 games. There's a little snapshot of why there, because Adam Smith has been getting a bit further forward down Bournemouth's right-hand side. Jadon Sancho just watches him run past him, doesn't track him back. Great ball from Senesi with a switch play with his left foot. Then Adam Smith picks out David Brooks, and to be fair, David Brooks should be getting a better shot off with his right foot. He snap hooks it, the ball gets cleared, and then Zabarnyi gets fouled. It's a free kick for Bournemouth in a really dangerous position there, inside right position.
And Christie is over the free kick along with David Brooks. What a story it would be if David Brooks finds himself on the score sheet here today.
Well, I think Bournemouth are the only team who haven't scored direct from a free kick. Is that right, Nige, this season?
Yeah.
Haven't been awarded a penalty.
Well, David Brooks will take the free kick, curls it left-footed, it's deflected, and De Gea scrambles across his penalty area, but Wan-Bissaka avoids the corner. Now Anthony back towards Senesi for Bournemouth, and Kelly will take over on the overlap. Good cross into the penalty area. Christie was challenging, headed away well though by Varane on the far side, and it will be a throw into Bournemouth. Taken quickly in towards Brooks, and then all the way back towards Zabarnyi again, who developed a reputation as a ball-playing central defender with Dynamo Kyiv, and he's carried that into the Premier League. Senesi. And now Lerma, and Bournemouth are back in the game now after being played out of it in the opening 20 minutes or so.
The reason being, Nigel, Manchester United just had a rest, haven't they? They just had a rest for the last sort of 7 to 8 minutes where they just dropped deep into their own half. That's allowed Bournemouth to get themselves on the ball and just get a little bit of confidence.
Senesi plays it forward, looking for Anthony, but it's cut out by Casemiro as that defensive shield. And now a back heel from Anthony, straight to Christie, and Bournemouth get the ball back unexpectedly. And here is Ryan Christie again, finding Jadon Anthony into the penalty area. Brooks on the overlap, cuts it back. Christie with the opportunity to strike it, and it's blocked by Varane. It spins behind for a corner, and that all came from unnecessary showboating from Anthony.
Yeah, exactly right, Nige. You said there, just overplaying from Anthony there, just with his little sort of back heel. Within 2 passing movements, goes into Justin Lerma, then to David Brooks, gets to the byline, just tries to cut it back. Unfortunately, when the ball comes back to Dominic Solanke, it's a really good block from Varane, corner for Bournemouth on their left-hand side.
Lewis Cook will take it. Wolves 1, Everton 0. Hwang Hee-chan with the opening goal at Molineux. The corner into the near post from Cook is headed away initially by Lindelof, and then Christie with a very deep ball back in, and De Gea gathers at the second attempt. And Bournemouth are at Goodison Park next week. That could be a significant afternoon.
Yeah, they're very, very good at home, aren't they, Wolves, under Lopetegui. Very rarely concede goals. It's going to be a long afternoon for Everton. You said there'll be a massive game with Goodison Park next week, because Bournemouth, as we said earlier, are better away from home.
Well, they've been cast in the role occupied by Wimbledon and Coventry in the past as teams who Everton may have to win against or get a result against to have any hope of survival. Now Bruno Fernandes has given the ball away to Solanke, and Solanke rides the challenge of Lindelof, breaking up towards the edge of the penalty area. Christie takes over, wide towards Brooks now on the right-hand side. He comes in field again onto the left foot, looks to find Christie, but the ball forward just bobbles off Lindelof, and United get away with it.
Yeah, it was really sloppy play from Bruno Fernandes, just a square pass to Lindelof. It was intercepted by Solanke. Lindelof did really well because he just got a touch on the ball which stopped Dominic Solanke marauding away from him. Now Manchester United are on the counter-attack in Bournemouth's penalty area.
Martial back towards Sancho, who pirouettes and finds Casemiro. Now Bruno Fernandes. Fulham 0, Palace 1. Odsonne Edouard at Craven Cottage. Bruno Fernandes plays it wide towards Shaw. And now an opportunity for Martial to come in field from the left. And United looking to build here almost at walking pace. But now Sancho will try and add some pace. Back towards Martial, who goes for the dinky sort of curler, right-footed, and it's high over the top. So Palace winning at Fulham, Villa winning at Liverpool, and Everton trailing at Wolves, the other scores in the Premier League so far in the 3 o'clocks. Brentford winning 3-1 at Spurs earlier on today. In the League Two playoffs, Stockport have beaten Salford on penalties, twice coming from behind on aggregate today. And Carlisle lead Bradford 1-0 on the day at Brunton Park. That's live on the TalkSport app. It is 1-1 on aggregate. Should that game go to extra time, then commentary will be available here on TalkSport 2. Now Wan-Bissaka. Oh, almost nutmegs Christie inadvertently on this near side, and United are quite loose at times, aren't they?
Yeah, I think actually Christie nutmegged himself there, didn't he? Because he should have took the ball off of Wan-Bissaka, had a complete air shot. In the end, Wan-Bissaka ended up putting it through his legs, kept possession for Manchester United. They just had to say, just went a bit sort of lax, didn't they, for a good 8 to 10 minutes, where they just retreated into their own half. Now they've sort of got themselves out of that lethargy. They've started to get themselves on the ball again.
Here is Anthony on this near side. You're listening to Bournemouth against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 with Car Finance 24/7. Say hello to hassle-free car finance. Search Car Finance 24/7 today as the wind swirls around Dean Court once again, and Perry's notes go everywhere. You've never invested in a clipboard, and as a result, Perry's water has splashed all over Dan Windle sat next to us.
To be fair to Dan, he must be a slip fielder when he plays cricket, because he grabbed my notes pretty sharpish there.
Yeah, but, if he had the sort of damage limitation that the rest of us had, he would have taken care to avoid your notes and just make sure he didn't get soaked.
It's a team game. No, it's a team game. Team TalkSport.
You're on TalkSport 2, by the way. Here is Varane on the halfway line. United leading here by 1-0 with 38 minutes played. And it's been a really watchable game so far. United played some great stuff in the opening 20 minutes, but Bournemouth have come back into it. And De Gea's made a fine save to keep out Solanke. And there is something in this game for Bournemouth at this stage. Now Lerma back again towards Senesi. No Philip Billing or Joe Rothwell involved today for Bournemouth. Billing, of course, has had such an important role to play in a number of the away victories recently.
Yeah, it's been his link-up play with Dominic Solanke. It's been absolutely outstanding. Dominic Solanke scoring his 6 Premier League goals this season. Philip being in second top goal scorer. So I mentioned before that the link-up play and their improvement individually under Gary O'Neill has been very, very good.
Well, they've won 6 of their last 11, Bournemouth, after only 5 wins in their opening 25 games of the season. So the improvement is clear. Casemiro lets fly again from the edge of the penalty area with the outside of the right foot this time, and it's kept up by Neto.
I think it's the first shot from long distance has been actually on target from Manchester United. You say the ball breaks from Casemiro. Solanke just trying to track back to get the block in. There's a good strike from Casemiro, just coming off of it with his right foot. But in the end, it's a simple save from Neto down to his left-hand side. He has a long time to see it.
Well, only Southampton, Leicester and Everton have fewer home points than Bournemouth so far this season, and they've been beaten here in 3 of their previous 4 games, the only exception that 4-1 victory over Leeds, which just underlines the point that they have won games that really they had to win this season, and teams like Everton and Leeds will look back on matches where they've dropped points against their relegation rivals, and ultimately that's what cost you.
Yep, it's just a mini league at the bottom of the Premier League. Said you've got to pick up your points, if not you put yourself under pressure. And also for Bournemouth now, they've had a couple of big results as well, haven't they? 3-2 away at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, beating Liverpool here 1-0.
You've always got to pick up a couple of really unexpected results, and they've done that as well. Now Cook with a good ball forward. Solanke is off and running down the right-hand side. He checks back in field to try and avoid Varane, and now he has support on the overlap from Smith. Smith with the cross in, and it's volleyed towards goal by Christie, who really improvised well there. The ball dropping over his shoulder, tried to flick the ball on at the near post, but it was claimed by De Gea.
Yeah, that's where Bournemouth have been most dangerous down their right-hand side. It's Jadon Sancho who doesn't truck his runners. Adam Smith getting away again, just putting it into Ryan Christie. I think it'd actually be better leaving it, because just behind him, Jefferson Lerma was lurking round about the penalty spot. He said he tried to improvise. In the end, he just flicked it high up in the air. Simple save for David De Gea.
But you look at this United team, basically Casemiro is the only player who's the defensive rock, and everybody else believes themselves to be an attacking talent.
That's all very well when you've got that many attacking players on, but you've got to make sure that you do your shift when you're out of possession, and that doesn't happen for Manchester United, especially away from home.
Now Anthony, once again, a couple of boos for him from the home supporters, and Casemiro was challenged by Christie, but Christie won the ball as Casemiro dramatically crumpled to the turf on the edge of the penalty area. But United maintain possession here, wearing lime green here today. It's Martial in the centre-forward position, but Sancho then runs into Sabani, and Senesi will clear up towards the halfway line. 2.5 minutes of normal time to play in the first half here at the Vitality Stadium, and it's Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Liverpool losing at home to Aston Villa, so if it stays like this, Manchester United will be guaranteed a top 4 finish. In fact, the top 4 will be done.
Well, Erik ten Hag, when he gets his Manchester United team, we've got 2 minutes to play with, obviously a bit of injury time. Getting at half-time will make sure that his team doesn't take their foot off the pedal in the second half. Because as you say, then it just keeps it like this. Then Manchester United are in the Champions League, and then Marcus Rashford will probably sign his contract.
Yep. Here is Christie. In towards Cook, and he's robbed by Eriksson. And now Sancho will get there before Smith on the far side, the right. And Sancho with a poor crossfield ball, looking for Wan-Bissaka, but it's cut out by Jadon Anthony. And then Christie's just been clipped by Varane on the halfway line. Erik ten Hag not too impressed by that, but it will be a Bournemouth free kick with 90 seconds of normal time to play in the first half. And if the top 4 is settled today, it will be Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle and Manchester United. And we talk about the same teams being up there every season, but 3 of the top 4 from last season won't qualify for the Champions League.
Yeah, we should like to see a little bit of variety. Obviously,
not a massive amount of variety, admittedly.
But it's a little bit, exactly, yeah. Eddie Howe doing a fantastic job at Newcastle United, where I think, you know, they thought they might have a bit of progression from last season, where maybe they might get into the Europa League places, but for Eddie Howe to get Newcastle into Champions League places, they're probably a season to 2 seasons ahead of where they thought they would be.
But it just underlines those with the wealth really should finish at the top of the table, and Newcastle, whatever you believe, on the field at least, they have used that wealth to improve their team and progress as a result of that. Now Smith coming forward, tries to nutmeg Luke Shaw, but Shaw does well to win it back and almost leaves it for Casemiro as the 2 players nearly collide inside the centre circle, and we are into a single minute of added time at the end of the first half here.
I think that's Anthony's minute, isn't it?
Yeah.
For his the real hefty blow that he took in his ribs.
So Liverpool losing, Manchester United winning at the moment in the Premier League, and that will be enough to settle the top four. At the bottom, Everton are losing at Wolves by 1-0. And elsewhere in the London derby, Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1, as flags up against Bruno Fernandes. Just inside the Bournemouth half. The free kick is taken quickly. Cook wide towards Smith again. The early cross delivered. Solanke with a looping header onto the roof of the netting.
Yeah, that's where Bournemouth been their most dangerous, down their right-hand side. The reason that Adam Smith found himself in a whole load of space out on that right-hand side is because Wan-Bissaka made a marauding run again in the inside right position. That meant Luke Shaw had to come out to right back, and then Christian Eriksen found himself at left back.
That's half-time. Good game so far, illuminated by Casemiro's spectacular goal after 8 minutes. David De Gea making a fine save to keep out Dominic Solanke as Bournemouth belatedly responded, but at half-time, Manchester United are heading towards the top four. It is Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Nige, thank you. In the playoffs, the occasion may just have swallowed a few up, the nerves showing, penalties missed. Look, you've got to be brave to step up and take one, but Salford missed 3 of their 4. Stockport County win the shootout at Edgeley Park. A season's work decided by the spot. A chance of promotion decided from the spot. So cruel on Salford, who started this afternoon in front in their League 2 playoff tie. Over 210 minutes of playoff football absorbing between them both. It's decided in that manner. Stockport County chasing back-to-back promotions. They're off to Wembley for the League 2 playoff final next Sunday. Right here, don't miss it on TalkSport 2, your home, the EFL. Half-time in the other League 2 playoff second leg. Carlisle United 1-up at Brunton Park over Bradford City. That 1-1 on aggregate. If that goes to extra time, we'll pick up that commentary with Mark Wilson and Neil Redfern right here on TalkSport 2. The good and the distinctly average of Manchester United on show on the road once more, Perry Groves. Let's start with the good. Christian Eriksen, a ball into the path of Casemiro. Had an awful lot to do with that goal, though, didn't he?
Yeah, it was fantastic agility from Casemiro. It was like a role reversal down, wasn't it? Because normally it'd be Casemiro who's a bit deeper, Eriksen making the runs forward. So I think that caught Bournemouth by surprise. A great little chip pass from Christian Eriksen. And the thing that helped Casemiro is that Senesi was at full stretch, the Bournemouth centre-half, to try and intercept it. And with his left foot, he just sort of flicked it up in the air. That enabled Casemiro to swivel. And it was a fantastic overhead kick from probably about 5 yards, which gave Neto absolutely no chance. And you have to say, at that particular time, Manchester United looked very, very comfortable.
Christian Eriksen running things, and also Wan-Bissaka watch. Fascinating.
Yeah, well, he's obviously gone and knocked on Eric Ten Hag's door and said, look,
let me play anywhere.
Alexander-Arnold's going into midfield, John Stones is going into midfield, I want to go and express myself.
But he's also almost at times playing the right side of a front three.
Yeah, and he's sort of just come a little bit inverted as well. He's been alongside Martial, so they've had decent rotation. The one thing I would say about Manchester United is that I think after sort of half an hour, they thought, I'll have a rest.
Well, that's the other side of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's players not tracking, not running. Jadon Sancho, what's he doing? Out of possession, not helping Luke Shaw out at all.
No, and
it's invited Bournemouth back into the game.
Yeah, Adam Smith has been the main threat down Bournemouth's right-hand side from the right-back position. And what happens is, when you get that sense that the winger you're marking of Jadon Sancho isn't going to track you back, that gives you a bit more confidence. To be fair to Senesi, who's playing in that left side of the centre-half position, his switch of play 2 or 3 times been very, very good. But all that's happened when it's gone out to Adam Smith, he hasn't really been able to pick out the right pass, and that you can tell why Bournemouth do struggle at home, because when they get into the final third and run the 18-yard box, it's their decision-making that's very loose. They give the ball away too cheaply. So I think Gary O'Neill, he alluded to that in his manager's notes in the programme, where he wanted to see an improvement. So I wouldn't be surprised if not at half-time, after about 10 minutes in the second half, that Gary O'Neill makes a couple of changes, because he's not adverse to doing that.
Well, he made 5 changes ahead of today, and it felt opening 20-25 minutes. I was going to mention to you pre-match, we didn't quite get the opportunity at the time, though. Back-to-back defeats ahead of today, an opportunity to take on Manchester United this afternoon. 2 games of the season left, including today. Ringing those changes, Gary O'Neill, you are starting, aren't you, if you're O'Neill, to steer 1 or 2 conversations and thoughts to the summer and next season, and how do we want to go again? It could well be harder for us next season. Who's here? Who's going to stay here? Who's going to be central to what we do next season? O'Neill it looks like is starting to just put one or two things into play today, right?
Yeah, I think he's just having a look at a few. Lewis Cook probably being one of them in that central midfield area, because Rothwell's been very, very good alongside Jefferson Lermy. David Brooks came back in. David Brooks actually looked quite lively because he's playing on the right side of the three behind Dominic Slanky, but he's actually come in inverted, come in centrally. What's happened there then Ryan Christie has to have better rotation, go on the right-hand side. So Bournemouth, after being very passive for the first 25-30 minutes, they got themselves back into the game because Manchester United had a rest. Dominic Slanky had a great chance with his right foot, brilliant save down to his low from David De Gea on his left-hand side. So I think Gary Neal will be pleased with the last 15 minutes, but he won't be very happy with how passive they were in that first half an hour.
Interesting second half ahead on the Dorset goes back with Nigel Adley, Perry Groves for the second half here on Game Day exclusive on TalkSport. So I'm your host, Dan. We appreciate your company. Let's look ahead to this evening's Premier League action with Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
From 5:30, Arsenal must win at the City Ground. Nottingham Forest could end the title race this evening if they get the better of the Gunners this tea time. Forest, of course, desperate to stay clear of the bottom three. It's a big evening there for the TalkSport Network. Jeff Peters, very good afternoon.
Afternoon to you, boys.
I mean, the City Ground packed, Jeff, to the rafters. It's a huge evening for both sides.
It is. Forest not safe from relegation just yet. They're 3 points above the relegation zone, 3 points above Leeds. They're 4 above Leicester, just a couple above Everton. So they'll be hoping that their home form, which has been comparatively to their awful away form, has been pretty good. It's the home form that will keep them up. I think if they were offered a point today, I think that would be absolutely massive for them. But how are Arsenal going to respond to that 3-0 defeat against Brighton last week? We knew even before that game that it was going to be tough for them to catch Manchester City for the title. Are they going to be affected in a negative way by that loss? They know that a win or even a draw is prolonging the inevitable, if we like. We know that Manchester City can win the Premier League tomorrow, but I think, you want to, even if you're not going to win the league, from Arsenal's point of view, you still want to finish the season as strong as possible and just get as close to Manchester City as possible.
Zinchenko, Martinelli, the latest out injured for Arsenal, Jeff. They're running out of bodies, aren't they? Well, I say that. I mean, as far as a leading Premier League club go, yeah.
I mean, Tomiyasu, Saliba, El Neni, add into the likes of Zinchenko and Martinelli. They have been boosted this week by Ramsdale signing a new contract. So I think people are looking at Arsenal and going, well, the phrase that is used, they bottled it. They bottled the title this season. Yes, they were in a very good position, but it's still enormous progress from where they were 12 months ago. I think they will still put out a very strong side here at Forest this afternoon, and they will still be favourites to win this game. And as I say, you want to finish the season as strongly as possible. And I guess probably Manchester City fans, they would like to win it on their home turf if they can tomorrow.
Steve Cooper has said, Arsenal, watch out, we have improved significantly from the side that lost 5-0 at the Emirates Stadium back in October. I would say for Forest, Jeff, one more win would pretty much get them safe, really cement your mob in the mess, right?
Well, my mob are in the mess completely. I can't see them getting anything at Newcastle on Monday, and we've just been chatting about it with some of the Forest people here. What kind of results do we want in other games? Obviously, Leicester and Forest want Everton to lose today, want Leeds to lose to West Ham tomorrow, and it's possible Leicester could lose against Newcastle on Monday and still have a chance of staying up on the final day of the season, which is extraordinary. But Forest, you look at how in recent games, 7 points from the last 4 games. That's the same amount as they picked up in the previous 13 games. They've given themselves a real chance with those results, particularly that win against Brighton here, obviously beat Southampton as well. So they are in good shape. They are in a good position. I don't think Forest will go down.
Jeff, thank you. Enjoy the game. Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, 5:30 start. Jeff Peters there for the Talk Sport Network at the City Ground. That was a look ahead to this evening's Premier League action. Don't forget, with Now Sports, you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports.
Stay ahead of the game on TalkSport 2 with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
Game day exclusive TalkSport 2. I'll bring you the half times next.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Car Finance 24/7. In your corner, throughout your car buying journey. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Representative APR 19.9%. Car Finance 24/7 is a credit broker, not a lender.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
At Selco Builders Warehouse, we've got real deals on a wide range of building products. In May, we've got a white painted Velux GGL MK06 centre pivot roof window for £295 ex VAT. And with free delivery, that's a real deal. Find more real deals online at selcobw.com.
We've got it at Selco. Selco, it's where the trade goes.
That charged at 20%. Free delivery within local delivery areas.
Rodri to De Bruyne, flicked on to Walker. Goal! No one saw that coming.
Or as we say in Japan, no warutaka wa tsume o kakusu. The smart hawk hides its talents. For a taste beyond the expected, Asahi Super Dry, official beer partners of Manchester City. Enjoy responsibly. Visit drinkaware.co.uk.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Watching the big game, cozied up in the snug.
Another 7-0 win.
Balmy summer nights with the kids playing on the lawn.
We're playing real life football!
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of June 2022 and 30th of September 2022 is under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Hello, my friend. Life comes at you fast, so make time for you time with Just Eat. For early times, lunch times, late times, strange times. The perfect times for the McDonald's sausage and egg McMuffin, Five Guys cheeseburger and strawberry shake, Domino's pepperoni passion, plus more from Costa Coffee, Creams Cafe and Pizza Express. So order now, later, in a bit, whenever. We got it.
Did somebody say Just Eat?
Product subject to availability in restaurant and serving times. Participating stores only. See justeat.co.uk for details.
And he's barreled it straight through the midfield into the Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone, the home of big screen live football. A long volley over the stadium seats by the giant screens into the left-hand corner of the bar, past a winning lineup of ice-cold beers and a magnificent menu of mouth-watering footy food. Result: enjoy the perfect big match experience with food, drink and live football at a Village Hotel Pub and Grill Fan Zone at 33 UK locations. Find your nearest venue and win monthly prizes, including match tickets at villagehotels.com/fanzone. Get in. Conditions apply. 18+. Always drink responsibly.
For insightful analysis of every kick and every goal from the weekend's Premier League action, get the game from The Times on Monday. Subscribe today at thetimes.co.uk/football for provocative and compelling opinions from highly respectable writers, including Tony Cascarino, Ian Hawkey, and the voice of football, Henry Winter. Try it free for 1 month at thetimes.co.uk/football or pick up the free supplement in The Times on Monday.
Lovely bit of football.
Auto renews at £26 a month unless cancelled. T's and C's apply.
Game day exclusive on TalkSport 2 with Now Sports. Stream all the Sky Sports action like Nottingham Forest versus Arsenal live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports 18+. Stream via internet. Terms apply.
There's live football back in your life on Monday night with Game Night on TalkSport.
He's bolling it high into the roof of the net.
And Leicester City are fighting for Premier League survival against high flyers Newcastle.
It's a sensational goal!
Compelling coverage from 6. Kick-off 8 p.m. on TalkSport.
Game day.
Feel the passion and the pride of the Premier League.
Oh, it's a stunning goal!
Game day exclusive
On TalkSport 2.
Full time from earlier in the Premier League finish. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3. Half time is Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1. That one some way behind the rest. Getting into half time this afternoon in the Premier League. Half time, Wolves 1, Everton 0, 5:30 Forest against Arsenal. And in the League 2 playoffs, earlier it finished Stockport County 2, Salford City 1 after 90 minutes, 2-2 on aggregate. Stockport County winning 3-1 on penalty. Stockport next Sunday playing the League 2 playoff final live here on TalkSport 2, and it's half-time in the other League 2 second leg in the playoff semi-finals. It's Carlisle United 1, Bradford City 0, 1-1 that one in aggregate. And if it goes to extra time, potentially penalties also, we're bringing that to you right here on TalkSport 2. The sides back out here at the Vitality Stadium. Certainly Manchester United are back out. The Bournemouth subs doing some work over on the far side here on the sun-soaked Dorset coast as well. So Manchester United in front as things stand right now. Elsewhere, also doing enough to secure that top 4 spot this afternoon, Perry Groves. But Eric Ten Hag won't have been going around giving people pats on the back after that first half, would he?
No, I think the first 20-25 minutes he would. Manchester United looked very, very comfortable. You know, obviously the early goal from Casemiro putting him in total control. But then I think we saw why Manchester United are so poor away from home this season, because then they just retreated into their own half, basically got a rest. That enabled Bournemouth to get themselves back into the game with Adam Smith boarding down that right-hand side, Jadon Sancho switching off a couple of times. So I think from Gary O'Neill's point of view, he wants his Bournemouth team to play probably 10-15 yards further up the pitch to put Manchester United under more pressure. And from Eric Ten Hag's point of view, he wants Manchester United to get themselves on the ball and make sure that the two players in the wide areas and in Sancho actually do their job defensively.
Can I just ask you a follow-up on Sancho, who hasn't blown me away, I'll put it like that, so far this afternoon here at the Vitality Stadium. It would frustrate me beyond belief the work he's not doing off the ball, and he's on this near side, and I imagine the Manchester United technical staff, Eric Ten Hag, are going to be in his ear throughout this second half.
Well, there's a lot of players in the Manchester United team who don't do a lot of work off the ball, because you look at Fernandes, you know, he can be carried when you're out of possession, and you mentioned Sancho as well.
Right, we're back off and underway. Perry Groves alongside Nigel Adley on the call for TalkSport 2.
Thank you, Dan. The teams once again: Bournemouth, Neto in goal, Smith, Sabani, Senesi and Kelly, Brooks, Cook, Lerma and Anthony, Christie playing off Solanke. The United side: De Gea in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Lindelof and Shaw, Casemiro and Eriksen, Anthony, Bruno and Sancho behind Martial. United wearing all lime green, illuminated in the warm sunshine here at pitch level at Dean Court. Bournemouth in there, red and black, and this tight, compact stadium, just over 10,000 in attendance once again, but always a good noise here as Bournemouth come forward at the start of the second half with Senesi, the central defender, looking to break forward. He's given the ball away, and just for a moment United looked as though they could turn defence into attack, but Bournemouth now win it back, and here was an opportunity for Brooks deep inside the penalty area, and he fires in the shot which is turned over the top by De Gea.
Really good link-up play from Bournemouth. Coming into Ryan Christie, he releases David Brooks from that inside left position. Good touch out his feet from David Brooks. I actually think he should be looking to go across David De Gea into his far post, tries to beat him at his near post. Excellent save from De Gea, full stretch with his right fingertip, just tipping the ball across corner for Bournemouth over on the left-hand side.
Lewis Cook will take it for Bournemouth, and it will be an in-swinger. High into the 6-yard area, nodded away by Varane. Brooks again on the edge of the penalty area. Good ball from him. Back out to the corner taker. Cook with the ball in, which is glanced away by Wan-Bissaka. But Lerma controls inside the penalty area. Could have gone for goal left-footed, but tried to just play the ball inside to Brooks, and in the end it's cleared away. And Eric Ten Hag out to the edge of his technical area, telling his team to rev it up.
Yep. Bournemouth been on the front foot. We said about playing a bit further up the pitch, which they are, Nige, a good 10-15 yards further up, just to make sure they get themselves into Manchester United's half. They've started off far sharper in possession. So David Brooks had a fantastic chance, which he should have been going across David De Gea.
Well, if it stays as it is, the top 4 will be sorted out. Manchester City, Arsenal, Newcastle and Manchester United will be in the Champions League next season, so 3 of the 4 teams who qualified last season will be missing out: Chelsea, Liverpool and Spurs. But that Liverpool game is about 7 minutes behind this one, so who knows, there could be drama to come in the second half, and if United defend like they have done so far in the second half here, there will be drama. As Martial is bumped off the ball by Lerma, and it's all the way back to the halfway line and Lloyd Kelly. 3 minutes played in the second half on TalkSport 2. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, as Christie will try and fasten on to a touch on the far side from Anthony, but the ball beats him out of play, and it will be a throw into Manchester United. And alongside me here, Perry Groves, the former Arsenal and Southampton winger, and just looking at the way United play, it does seem that there's a lack of balance there. Good players in every position, but we look at Manchester City. I know they're on another level, but everybody knows their job and everybody else's job. You can't say the same about this United team.
Well, the other thing as well is, you just say about Man City, at Man City you don't get any lazy players, whether you're at home or whether away. I'm looking at this Manchester United side, and I say we've been sort of critical of Jadon Sancho, but I think you could level the same accusation at Anthony, who doesn't do his job defensively. Bruno Fernandes doesn't do his job defensively. Christian Eriksen gets himself back into the shape, but obviously that's not his great strength. So I think there's too many players for Manchester United, I think, definitely away from home, play within themselves.
But Anthony has won a free kick on the far side, close to the corner flag. Fouled by Lloyd Kelly, although Kelly was quick to dispute the decision. Eriksen is over the free kick, and Casemiro is having words with Neto, the Bournemouth goalkeeper, both Brazilians, of course. And Bournemouth have conceded 21 goals from set pieces so far this season. Eriksen with the free kick, fired into that near post and headed away by Solanke. Volley back through the crowd by Anthony, but now Cook will clear, tries to find Smith. Eriksen with a cushion ball in field, straight back to Smith. Smith, though, has been challenged by Eriksen, and United win the ball back and somehow keep the ball in play on the far side. Now Martial, but he's heading back towards the halfway line, and eventually he's challenged by Kelly, and it's sprayed wide by Varane towards Sancho on this near side. Sancho comes in field, has support from Casemiro. 5 minutes into the second half here on TalkSport 2. United leading by a 1-0, but a high ball into the penalty area. It's headed away by Zabani, and then a foul on Smith on this near side by Martial, and it will be a free kick for Bournemouth.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, Nigel, about how Bournemouth are very poor from set pieces, conceding 27 goals from set pieces. It was good defending from Dominic Solanke at the near post as Christian Eriksen whipped the ball in. Bournemouth go zonal across that 6-yard box. You've got to make sure when it comes into your zone you attack the ball. It's exactly what Dominic Solanke did.
Well, the United fans singing about Wembley on the far side. Of course, they will be heading there in a couple of weeks' time to meet Manchester City in what is now an eagerly awaited FA Cup final, with Manchester United potentially standing between Manchester City and the treble, which has only been done by one club before, and that, of course, is Manchester United. As Casemiro plays it square to Lindelof, into Bruno Fernandes once again. Lindelof continues his run forward. Martial back again towards Casemiro, wide to the far side, and here is Wan-Bissaka breaking into the penalty area, supported by Martial. It's a really good move. Martial deep into the 6-yard box, but the cross into the near post is deflected behind by Cook, and it will be a corner.
Yeah, we saw Wan-Bissaka again marauding forward in that inside right position. Really good link-up play, just fix it into Martial, and I think he should get his shot away a lot earlier, because he dribbles it to the byline, obviously narrows his angle down, couldn't get the ball out of his feet. In the end, it gets blocked by Senesi at the near post. Corner for Manchester United over on their right-hand side, be taken by Luke Shaw, in swinging with his left foot.
And 16 of these set-piece goals Bournemouth have conceded have come from corners so far this season. Eriksen will take it, flight it into the 6-yard area, but Bournemouth again are able to repel it, but it's regathered on this near side, back in field towards Sancho. Sancho's got support from Eriksen, tries to work the 1-2 with Bruno Fernandes, and now Casemiro with a good ball wide towards the left, and Sancho, who will try and take on Zabani. And it's back out wide to Bruno Fernandes, but his low left-footed ball in is deflected off Brooks, headed away by Lerma as it loops up into the air. Then leaping is Wan-Bissaka, left-hand side of midfield this time for the right back. But the 1-2 between himself and Bruno Fernandes doesn't come off, and it's behind for a goal kick.
I wonder if Wan-Bissaka's given himself that free roll, just keep coming into midfield, end up in the centre-forward position. You mentioned there the inside left position. But to be fair to him, his athleticism enables him to actually get back. He's one of the Manchester United players who does relish his recovery runs and make sure that he does his job for the team off the ball.
Well, he's in a central defensive position now, and he's left Jadon Anthony in acres of space over on the far side, the left. And of course he is quick enough to recover those sorts of situations, but maybe you shouldn't allow them to happen in the first place.
Well, he must have been given that little bit of licence from Erik ten Hag, so I couldn't imagine him just taking it upon his own back to be able to do that, because ten Hag likes his team to be well structured.
Now Casemiro just in front of us on this near side. He's given the ball away. Christie with a good ball into the penalty area for Solanke. Pulls it back right across the face of goal, and there was nobody there to apply the finishing touch.
It's a great ball from Ryan Christie in the inside right, because the outside of his right foot just bent it into the path of Dominic Solanke. I think actually Solanke got caught in two minds now, because it didn't look like whether he was going to cross it or ever shoot, and say he got sort of twixt in between. In the end, the ball rolled across David De Gea. Jadon Anthony came in from that left-hand side to see him get himself a little tap in. Couldn't quite stretch to get it, but fantastic ball from Ryan Christie.
And now a change being made by Bournemouth, and it's David Brooks who is coming off. I'm sure that was a planned move. 55 minutes played, of course, his first start in the Premier League for nearly 3 years. And he will be replaced by Kiefer Moore. So two strikers up top now.
Yeah, you mentioned in the first half that Kiefer Moore was another option, obviously, for Bournemouth. He'll have a two-pronged central attack now with Dominic Solanke. Bournemouth will probably just go into a 4-4-2. Ryan Christie coming out on this right-hand side. Jadon Anthony making sure he stays out more of a left winger now, rather than left of a three.
Well, one Welsh international replaces another, although Kiefer Moore hasn't scored in the Premier League since the 12th of November. But 3 of his 4 goals this season have been headers, and he'll be looking for some sort of service now. And Wout Weghorst will be coming on shortly as Martial on the edge of the penalty area. It's closed down. Now Shaw takes over once again. Eriksen's in space, left-hand side of midfield, but it's back towards Martial. But once again, United are moving the ball around in a rather laboured fashion on the edge of the penalty area. But now there's an injection of pace as Bruno Fernandes works it between himself and Martial deep into the penalty area. And in the end, Martial was closed down by Zabarnyi, and it will be a corner kick.
Yeah, it was good 1 and 2 touch play from Manchester United. Martial just dropping a little bit deeper, rolling it into Bruno Fernandes. Little give and go, getting the return ball. To be fair to Senesi, make sure that he tracked the run of Martial. Managed to get the block on for a corner for Manchester United on the left-hand side.
And here is the change. Anthony Martial is coming off, and Wout Weghorst is coming on. So Martial, very slowly, is walking around the edge of the pitch here, and he doesn't look massively pleased with that decision.
But to be fair,
look at his face.
Yeah, but I don't think he's done anything in that first half to warrant staying on the pitch, because you mentioned before about Manchester United players playing within themselves. I think he's one of those sort of players.
Eriksen with the corner. Weghorst hasn't scored in 15 previous Premier League games, although only 5 of those were starts. In the Premier League, still Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1, Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1, with the equaliser from Aleksandar Mitrovic with a penalty just before half-time, and it's Wolves 1, Everton 0. Bournemouth go to Everton on the final day of the season. Manchester United next in action after this game on Thursday, live on TalkSport at home to Chelsea, and then they are also at home to Fulham on the final day of the season. So not a bad run-in on the face of it for Manchester United. Now Eriksen on the edge of the penalty area looking for Anthony, but it's quickly cut out. Kiefer Moore trying to work his way out of a difficult situation, but he's given the ball away. Bruno Fernandes now with a low ball which is deflected across the penalty area. Solanke will intercept, and Jadon Anthony can bring the ball forward as the sun peeps out from behind a cloud once again here at the Vitality Stadium on TalkSport 2. 58 minutes played, and it's still Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Now it's been given away by Zabarnyi. Weghorst square towards Casemiro, and now Anthony inside the penalty area. Low shot from him. It maybe took a deflection, did it? No, but it went right across the face of goal behind for a goal kick.
The last thing that you want is your centre half done on a mazy dribble from his position. That was Ibrahim, just driven the ball out, got himself robbed by Casemiro. Ball comes out to Anthony on Manchester United right hand side. Instead of coming inside, which he normally does, he goes on his right foot and completely snap hooks his shot across Neto's goal. That's another facet of play that Anthony's got to get into his play, because he always likes coming in onto his left foot. He becomes a little bit too telegraphed. He's got to make sure he works on that little bit of technique onto his right foot. He didn't have really the conviction to get his right-footed shot away.
Eriksson lofts it forward, looking for Weghorst. Two big men chasing, but Zabarnyi gets there first, and Dan Wendell has just pointed out to me that Anthony Martial went straight down the tunnel. There's always a bit of politics, always a bit of intrigue around Manchester United. Of course, no Marcus Rashford in the team today due to illness. Didn't train yesterday. But they are winning here, and this could be a day when they clinch a return to the Champions League.
Well, to be fair, Martial was a little bit sharper going down the players' tunnel than what he was when Manchester United were out of possession trying to win the ball back.
Yeah, it was a quick dart. And you're listening to Bournemouth against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 with Now Sports. Don't forget that with Now Sports you can stream all the Sky Sports action, like Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, live today for $11.99. No contract. Search Now Sports. Now Shaw plays it back to Lindelöf and all the way back to De Gea, who clears downfield. Long right-footed for Manchester United. And the flag is up for offside just inside the Bournemouth half as Bruno Fernandes came back to challenge from an offside position. Chris Kavanagh, our referee here today. Now Smith for Bournemouth, finding Christie. Tries to slide it forward to Solanke on the edge of the penalty area, but it's cut out initially by Varane, but now Bruno Fernandes has been challenged by Anthony. Fernandes left on the turf, and Bournemouth can bring it forward with Solanke, left-hand side of the penalty area, looking to work his way in field, but he's challenged by Casemiro, and it's back again with Bruno Fernandes in the right-back area.
To be fair, Nigel, I think Fernandes was challenged by a mole there, because there was actually nobody around him whatsoever, and just completely lost his footing. Instead, Jadon Anthony was able to rob him. But again, when it gets to Manchester United's 18-yard box, Bournemouth keep giving the ball away too cheaply. They've got to be more incisive in their passing, show a little bit more creativity. See, now they've got the two forwards up top with Kiefer Moore. It looks like out of possession. Dominic Solanke will just drop off of Kiefer Moore, then in possession, Bournemouth will go to a 4-2-4.
A reminder, on the TalkSport app, Carlisle 1, Bradford 0 in the League 2 playoff semi-final. Second leg. Download the TalkSport app and you can swipe between that game and this one. Stockport already in the final after beating Salford on penalties earlier on today. Manchester United coming forward now. Wan-Bissaka inside the penalty area again. Bruno slips, although I don't think the ball back to him was the best. And Bournemouth will clear. Solanke turns over the halfway line. Left-hand side, rides the challenge of Casemiro. Christie makes the run down the centre. Solanke, though, was looking for support on this near side. And in the end, Eriksson picks his pocket, and it's brought clear by United. And here is Bruno Fernandes again, up towards the edge of the penalty area. To his right is Anthony. Anthony comes in field, but the left-footed shot is blocked by Kelly. But it's back towards Bruno Fernandes again. The scoop in towards Weghorst, who fires him the shot, and it's bobbled into the body of Neto, but he somehow manages to shovel the ball away as Cody Gakpo equalises for Liverpool at Anfield. 1-1 against Aston Villa. And Manchester United still leading by a goal to nil here.
That was a really good save from Neto as the ball came back. It ricocheted off of Aaron Wan-Bissaka again in that inside right position. And to be fair to Neto, he was unsighted as Weghorst got his volley away, just bounced in front of him, just a good reflex save. Got a strong right arm to it. Ball ends up bouncing away. Manchester United again regain possession.
Well, United have lost 8 games away from home this season, but in the main they've come against the teams currently in the top 9 of the table. West Ham the only outlier in that category, but only Aston Villa have scored fewer goals in the top half, and they've only scored fewer goals once in the Premier League era at this stage of the season, and that was under Louis van Gaal when it was pretty dour back in 2015, 2016, and they're not putting this game away.
No, just sort of a lack of urgency. You think that there's another sort of 2 gears for Manchester United to go up. That's allowed Bournemouth to get himself back into the game. They're just quite a frustrating team to watch, Nigel, aren't they, Manchester United? Because you know there's so much talent that they have. You always feel that there's sort of that little bit more to come out.
Well, that Liverpool goal from Cody Gakpo has been disallowed via VAR. Wan-Bissaka back to Bruno Fernandes, who fires in the shot, which deflects away off Zabarnyi and behind for a corner kick.
Yes, that man again, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, just going in that inside right possession, just released by Jadon Sancho, coming off that left flank. Comes back to Bruno Fernandes, said there in the end it was a decent block from Zabarnyi, just protecting his goalkeeper. Corner for Manchester United over on their left-hand side.
And it will be taken by Christian Eriksen. Manchester United leading here on TalkSport 2 by a 0-0. Eriksen with an in-swinger. High towards the far post. Neto comes and gets nowhere near it, but Casemiro coming in behind his fellow Brazilian heads it wide.
He was very lucky there. Neto looked like he was waving to some of his family up in the director's box, because he's just put his left arm up in the air. He's got nowhere near the ball. In the end, Casemiro couldn't head it back across the 6-yard box.
Changes for Bournemouth. Ryan Christie is coming off on this near side. And Matthias Viña is coming on, and Dango Uwatra will also be coming on for Bournemouth, and we'll get confirmation in a moment of who is going off, and it's Adam Smith. So it's basically Viña replacing Smith, and Uwatra will replace Christie. So they're trying to offer more in the wide areas here, I think, now, with both Solanke and Moore up top.
Yeah, with Viña coming on, he normally obviously plays in left-back position. He's going to come over onto the right-back. To be fair to Adam Smith, he was Bournemouth's best player going forward, especially in the first half. So it's just Gary O'Neill just trying to freshen up a bit, and you can bet your life that Viña will play probably more advanced even than Adam Smith was.
Now Sancho coming forward on this near side for Manchester United on their left. Back towards Shaw again. 65 minutes played. United leading 1-0, but Uwatra comes in with a challenge, but it's back again towards Sancho. A mazy dribble into the penalty area, but the ball in field is cut out by Lerma, and in the end the challenge comes in on the edge of the penalty area, but the cross is delivered as Viña went down, but it's gathered by Neto. And United here may have to do some defending as it's played wide towards the far side, and Anthony. And Jadon Anthony comes in field, in towards Uwatra, over the top, and Solanke, I don't believe the ball was intended for him, and in the end it's over his shoulder and out of play in front of those United fans for a throw-in.
Yeah, just overhit there by Uwatra. Just trying to release Solanke over on that left-hand side. Earlier on, Solanke did really well because he made sure that he got himself back on the edge of the 18-yard box. It looked like it was just going to be played by Jadon Sancho to Bruno Fernandes, and it was Solanke working for his team, making sure he just gets the interception.
A second for Aleksandar Mitrovic for Fulham. They lead Crystal Palace now, coming from behind by 2-1. You're listening to Bournemouth against Manchester United on TalkSport 2 with Car Finance 24/7. Say hello to hassle-free car finance. Search Car Finance 24/7 today. Strong play from Lerma on this near side, and eventually a free kick's been given to Bournemouth. Lewis Cook tries to take it, and he took it very quickly before United had retreated. And in the end, Chris Kavanagh makes Bournemouth come back towards the correct position, closer to the halfway line.
It's been a really easy game, isn't it, for Chris Kavanagh to referee? I can't remember any sort of full-blooded challenges. There's no sort of really hefty tackles going in. It has been more like a practice game.
Kelly over the free kick, and it's hit long towards this near side, looking for Kiefer Moore, but headed away by Casemiro. Now Sancho back towards Casemiro again. Kiefer Moore comes in with a challenge, and well, he went down, and a free kick's been given by the assistant on this near side, and that did look a touch soft.
Even Casemiro thinks it's a little bit soft. He has a little raise of both of his eyebrows. He's actually fallen over his own feet.
Yeah.
Kiefer Moore was nowhere near him.
Got nowhere near him. But it's a free kick for United, which De Gea will take from outside his penalty area. And the Manchester United supporters seeing their side edge towards the Champions League as it stands, with Liverpool losing by 1-0 at home to Aston Villa. Fulham leading Crystal Palace 2-1, and Everton still trailing 1-0 at Wolves. Nottingham Forest against Arsenal coming up at 5:30 as Vinya tries to build on this near side, but runs the ball out of play just in front of the United technical area, and it will be a throw-in to be taken by Luke Shaw, but not from there. And Chris Kavanagh, I think, tries to tell him to go back, and then Shaw ignores him. And then the Bournemouth bench come out and say, hang on, how many yards there
10.
did he? Yeah.
At least 10 yards. He was 5 yards in his own half. He ended up 5 yards into Bournemouth's half. It was like a false nose and glasses. He was just sort of inching his way, wasn't he?
But now Shaw's given the ball away to Lerma, and Bournemouth have the opportunity to attack with Watchalong, but it's cut out by Casemiro. The ball in field looking for Cook, and here is Weghorst over the halfway line and wide to the far side. Anthony coming in field, but again the ball doesn't find a teammate. Lewis Cook launches himself there at Eriksson. The referee goes to his pocket and it's a yellow card, but Lewis Cook maybe slightly fortunate there because he made his mind up to challenge Eriksson from a long way from the challenge.
Well, I think Lewis Cook must have been listening to the commentary on TalkSport 2, Nigel, because he said there's been no hefty challenges. That was the first one. He said he's actually launched himself. He takes the ball first, to be fair to him, but because his studs are showing, his follow-through goes through onto Eriksson's shin. And in the modern-day game, you're not allowed to clatter through players. So Chris Kavanagh just given his first yellow card.
Still Carlisle 1, Bradford 0. That's on the TalkSport app in the League 2 playoff semi-finals. Alejandro Garnacho will be coming on for United shortly. A reminder, big week in the Premier League coming up, live and exclusive to TalkSport. Newcastle against Leicester on Monday night, game night from St James's Park from 6. Then on Wednesday, it is Brighton against Manchester City. Thursday, Manchester United against Chelsea. Saturday, live and exclusive to TalkSport, it is Coventry against Luton. We'll have the League 2 playoff final on Sunday at 1:30 before the final day of the Premier League season. Commentaries on both TalkSport and TalkSport 2. And the League 1 playoff final, Sheffield Wednesday against Barnsley, will be live on TalkSport on Monday afternoon. And it's Jadon Sancho who is coming off for Manchester United, here to be replaced by Garnacho.
Yeah, to be fair, it could have been either one of Anthony or Jadon Sancho. But again, I'm just looking at Jadon Sancho. You know that there's a player in there. You know that there's a young player with abundance of talent. I think another one that he plays within himself. He doesn't seem to have that intensity, you know, that electric pace. He doesn't show it, and we know that he's got it. So Garnacho is a great opportunity now to come and make his mark on this game.
Well, he was hoping to play for the Argentinian under-20s at their World Cup, but United said no. But it's a free kick here for Manchester United. Bruno Fernandes is over it, clipped high towards the far post, headed away though by Moore. First involvement for Garnacho under that peroxide mop. He then gathers on this near side, cuts into the penalty area beyond Lerma. The low ball in, deflected into the near post and behind for a corner. Currently Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. For the latest odds, head to 888 Sport, the official betting partner of TalkSport 2's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Bournemouth to win at 33-1, the draw at 11-2, a United win at 8-1 on, all thanks to 888 Sport. Made to challenge, made to debate, made to play. 18 plus, begambleaware.org. Corner, which Eriksson will take, short to Shaw, on the edge of the penalty area, back towards Eriksson, but by the time he delivered the cross, he was closed down by Vinya, who strains every sinew to keep the ball in play on this near side, but eventually it's gone out and United will have a throw-in. They still lead here by 1-0, and they are still not overly impressive.
Yeah, you'd say it's been a laboured performance apart from the first sort of 10-15 minutes. Even Garnacho coming on there, just getting the ball on this left-hand side, he showed more intent, taking Lerma on 1v1, you know, just trying to get on the outside of him. Ended up getting Manchester United corner, which they take the short corner of Eriksson and Shaw, and Eriksson doesn't get his crossing properly.
Bruno Fernandes with a cross-in which was way too deep, straight behind for a goal kick. Still Fulham 2, Palace 1, Liverpool 0, Villa 1, Wolves 1, Everton 0. And if you want all the goals as they go in, over on TalkSport, Adrian Durham has Game Day Live from Anfield. Forest against Arsenal kicking off at 5:30. Stockport into the League 2 playoff final, beating Salford on penalties at Edgeley Park. Carlisle leading Bradford 1-0 at Brunton Park. That's 1-1 on aggregate over on the TalkSport app. And if that game does go to extra time, it will be here on TalkSport 2. Now Bournemouth coming forward with Vinya. Infield to Owatra. Lovely run from him beyond Lindelof into the penalty area, but the cross aimed for Solanke is cut out by Varane, and that was an opportunity. Now at the other end, Weghorst holds the ball up and plays it forward to Anthony. Anthony breaks into the penalty area down the right, but is held up by 2 Bournemouth players, and in the end he checks back, delivers it wide towards Garnacho. Garnacho gathers inside the penalty area, has Shaw on the overlap. His low cross is deflected behind by Senesi for a corner.
That movement there just sums up Bournemouth in the opposition 18-yard box. It was great link-up play down this right-hand side with Vinya releasing Owatra, and all he's got to do, he's got to make sure he hits the space now. He's just roll it across the 6-yard box. Dominic Solanke has a free shot into base of the empty net because David De Gea is at his near post, and in the end, Owatra hits Varane. Manchester United then get Bournemouth on the counter-attack. They managed to force a corner on their left-hand side.
Eriksson will take another corner for Manchester United. 15 minutes to play. Headed away at the near post and volleyed towards goal by Bruno Fernandes, and what a save by Neto, clawing that ball out from under his crossbar when it seemed certain that Bruno Fernandes would make the game safe.
Fantastic technique from Bruno Fernandes as the ball's clear from Eriksson's corner, edge of the 18-yard box. It's a right foot, side foot volley with a lot of pace and power. In the end, it was quite a comfortable save, wasn't it, for Neto, come through a crowd of bodies.
Eriksson again with the ball in, which is too deep and gathered at the second attempt by Neto. He quickly waves his teammates forward, but as they were all back defending, it will take them some time to funnel further up the field. But Bournemouth are still only 1-0 down. They've been in that situation since the 8th minute here, but they failed to score in 16 games this season. Now Owatra, he had support from Moore, but he runs into Casemiro. Garnacho will take on Cook, scoop back towards Casemiro, but it's a loose ball from him, gathered by Solanke in the centre circle. He turns away from Bruno Fernandes, scooped forward looking for Owatra, who goes down on the edge of the penalty area. Luke Shaw helps him up, and it's gathered by De Gea.
Yeah, he did really well there, Luke Shaw, because Owatra made this darting run from the right-hand side diagonally in centre-forward position, and Luke Shaw just made sure that he stood his ground. Owatra run into him, and then Luke Shaw put his hands up in the air and saying, "I didn't really mean it," and then picked him up, said, "Sorry, old chap."
The other 3 games are some time behind this one due to the added time in the first half. Liverpool still trailing Villa, Wolves leading Everton by 1-0, and Fulham leading Palace by 2-1. Now Owatra will gather on this near side for Bournemouth, and he'll take on Shaw for pace, and in the end the cross in is deflected. Was it? No, not according to the assistant on this near side, and it will be a goal kick.
It's Owatra just kind of trying to get on the outside of Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw didn't dive in. Owatra trying to get his cross in on first looks. It looks like the ball would come off Luke Shaw, but then it's ricocheted back of Owatra, and the linesman on this right-hand side quite rightly gives Manchester United a goal kick.
United edging towards their 17th clean sheet of the season, but Erik ten Hag continues to prowl around his technical area here, just picks up a bottle of water to take a swig. He does not have the look of a man who believes his team will see this game out the way they're playing with 13 minutes to play. Now Kiefer Moore stretches out one of those long legs to control for Bournemouth on this near side, but runs it out of play, and it will be a throw-in for Manchester United. And Luke Shaw once again steals a couple of yards. Do they not bother anymore? I know foul throws are sometimes allowed to go this time, but here is Owatra. in towards Solanke and on again towards Vigna. Vigna challenged by Casemiro. You can hear the ironic cheers from the Bournemouth fans as they are given a throw-in, but Awatra's lost it, but then he's won it back from Shaw, but his ball in field will be cut out by Garnacho, and Garnacho can use his pace now to break for Manchester United down this near side, and he's away from Lerma, who had a hack at him. And now Garnacho breaks towards the edge of the penalty area, but the ball forward was behind Anthony. Anthony gives him the thumbs up, but it's kept in play on the far side by Wan-Bissaka. Now Anthony is back on the ball, and Wan-Bissaka will find Eriksson once again.
Well, it's brilliant play initially from Garnacho, doing his defensive job on the edge of his own 18-yard box, and then breaking at pace 1v1 with Jefferson Lerma. Has a little foot over, goes on the outside of him. You said there, Jefferson Lerma tried to basically hack him down, and I think when Garnacho got to the 18-yard box, he's got to have more faith in his own ability, because he's 1v1 with Zabrani. He should go on the outside of him, and he tries to pick out Anthony over on the right-hand side of the box and rolls it behind him.
Now Shaw, wide towards Garnacho again. Vigna makes the challenge and wins the ball cleanly inside the penalty area. Awatra, lovely pirouette from him, away from Casemiro. Vigna was taken down off the ball by Shaw. May just have been a accidental clash, or maybe there was more to it.
For the third time, Luke accidentally got in the path of a Bournemouth player. But Awatra's looked very lively, Nigel, hasn't he, since he's been on this right-hand side. He's looking in to get in behind Manchester United's back line. He's very good in his sort of tight areas 1v1. They've just got to try and get the ball to him a little bit more.
Scored the winner very late on at Tottenham. Dango Awatra, Burkina Faso international, signed from Lorient in France. Part of the splurge in January from Bournemouth, which has worked very well for them. Now Garnacho breaks into the penalty area. In the end, though, he was under pressure from Zabani, and the shot dribbled through towards goal. Garnacho has stayed down inside the penalty area, and Chris Kavanagh eventually stops play.
It's not a head injury. Gary O'Neill was screaming at Zabani not to put the ball out of play, quite rightly, because he knows that Garnacho isn't that severely injured. So surely Chris Kavanagh has got to allow play to continue.
Well, I don't think Bournemouth wanted a player lying inside their penalty area. If anything, he's been winded probably because Zabani fell on top of him.
There's a shot from Nigel. He's got straight up without any physio coming on. So I think Chris Kavanagh's blown the whistle too early there.
9 minutes to play. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1 on TalkSport 2. Commentaries featuring Newcastle, Manchester City and Manchester United, all coming up on TalkSport next week. Next weekend, the playoff finals, live and exclusive to national radio on TalkSport, plus the final day of the Premier League season. It is going to be some weekend. Also the finish to the WSL season as well. Manchester United also involved in a title race there. Now Anthony coming forward for United on the far side. Plays it infield to Weghorst, but a good recovery challenge initially from Senesi. But Weghorst wins it back. The high cross in looking for Garnacho is very coolly headed up in the air by Vigna and guided back to the goalkeeper.
Brilliant defending from Vigna. Weghorst did well initially, get himself to the byline. He's just got to make sure he stands it up a little bit higher because Garnacho's unmarked on the far post. Vigna did brilliantly to win the header first, and then as the ball come down, you said there, nice, cool, he just chests it back to Neto. I think the Bournemouth fans are getting a little bit frustrated because I think they realise that there's an equaliser to be had here because Manchester United are not playing at their full capacity, but Bournemouth just can't quite get that quality in and around Manchester United's 18-yard box.
8 minutes to play. Moore is pulling Eriksson's shirt on this near side, but he still manages to find Garnacho, but it will be a throw-in for Manchester United, leading here by 1-0. And with Liverpool losing, that will be enough to finish in the top four. It will also ensure that Newcastle finish in the top four as well. 3 of the top 4 from last season won't be playing Champions League football next season. So there's a bit of churn amid the top teams, and also at the bottom, if Forest stay up, the 3 promoted teams will all stay up, including Bournemouth. And Bournemouth and Fulham have done it with, I wouldn't say comfort, but certainly Fulham have, but Bournemouth have done it with games to spare.
To be fair to Fulham as well, they've managed without Alexander Mitrovic, haven't they, for 8 games. He's got a couple of goals, so I think it's his best return, is it, in the Premier League, Mitrovic?
Oh, yeah, by some distance. Vinya. Good ball inside to Awatra. On towards Kiefer Moore inside the penalty area. It's saved by De Gea and cleared away by Lindelof. And maybe that was the chance for Bournemouth to equalise. Now Bruno Fernandes at the other end. Excellent raking ball to find Garnacho in so much space down the left-hand side. Weghorst waiting inside the penalty area, but he's challenged by Senesi. It loops high into the air. Weghorst then fouls Neto, and it's a free kick for Bournemouth. But at the other end, Kiefer Moore had his big chance, but he was denied by David De Gea.
It was an excellent save from David De Gea, but you have to say Kiefer Moore didn't really believe in himself. He's 1v1. As De Gea comes out at his near post, Kiefer Moore's probably just got to dink it over him. De Gea stands nice and big, saves it with his right knee as he goes in the long barrier.
Now Solanke coming in field from the Bournemouth left, but he's challenged by Casemiro, who just bided his time, made the challenge, and it's cleared away. 6 minutes to play. United leading 1-0. The game incredibly stretched now. Bruno Fernandes leading the counter-attack for Manchester United, fires in the right-footed shot, and it's high over the top into the Steve Fletcher stand.
There's really good play again from Watcha on this right-hand side. It was actually the perfect weighted pass. I've mentioned that Bournemouth not having that quality around the 18-yard box. That time they did, but then the end product from Kiefer Moore isn't good enough because he's just trying to roll it across David De Gea. In the end, it was a really good save from De Gea, but he didn't have to work for it nice, did he? He just had his long barrier, ended up hitting it with his sort of right calf. So Kiefer Moore's got to be more inventive in his finishing.
5 minutes to play here. Slightly longer at Anfield, where Liverpool still trail Aston Villa by a 1-0. Changes for Manchester United. Fred and McTominay are coming on, so we can sense what the game plan will be for the final 5 minutes here. Christian Eriksen is the first player to be withdrawn for Manchester United. McTominay coming back into the action after missing 9 games. His previous game was that victory against Everton. And Anthony is also coming off to be replaced by Fred. And it's fair to say that Anthony has had some good moments, but at times he has flattered to deceive.
Yeah, he gets himself into good areas. He's just giving the Manchester United fans a round of applause. Jefferson Lerma not very happy with him because he's
lingering,
sauntering off the pitch. Exactly. Jefferson Lerma's not happy. Give him a little push. Anthony has a little bit of a sort of a bite back. But I actually think when I'm looking at Anthony, guys, there's a player in there. There's definitely, with the ability, with his balance that he has. I just think, again, maybe because he's young, it's his end product that leaves a little bit to be desired.
Here is Solanke again, challenged by Varane on this near side, but he's quickly back to his feet. Just in front of us, down the Bournemouth right. Awatra once again saw Lerma run offside, so he checks his run, and in the end, Awatra lofts a ball wide to the far side. So the top 4, as it is, will remain the top 4. And in the minor placings at the moment, it will be Liverpool in 5th on 65, Villa in 6th on 60, and Brighton, who've still got 3 games to play, they have 58 points. Spurs, as it stands, will be out of the European places. And Brentford, not out of the race either. They're in 9th on 56 points.
But I think any new manager coming to Spurs...
they may not mind.
Exactly.
Not having
won't say it,
Conference League football,
publicly, yeah. So it gives you a week to work with your players.
Vinya challenged by Casemiro and fouled by him midway inside the United half, and it will be a free kick here for Bournemouth with 3 minutes to play. Manchester United finding themselves under a bit more pressure now in the closing stages as Erik ten Hag glugs from a water bottle again just in front of us. At the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Tottenham's women have just taken the lead against Reading in a big relegation battle. Beth England with the opening goal there. Both of the Tottenham sides playing at the main stadium today, and the women will be hoping to do better than the men did. Free kick taken short to Cook, lofted high into the penalty area. Solanke with the header across the face of goal. Wan-Bissaka is there to nod the ball down, and Garnacho will volley the ball clear, but it will come straight back from Vinya. Now Lerma wide to this near side. And Cook, he was waiting for a watcher to make the run forward, but infield Vigna will try and break, but Weghorst comes back with a good challenge, and United now can break. Fred plays it wide towards Bruno Fernandes, midway inside the Bournemouth half. Needs some support. Weghorst is the only player ahead of him, but Bruno Fernandes is eventually robbed by Vigna. And here is Solanke, off and running for Bournemouth, down the far side, the left. Inside the 89th minute, now Vigna chasing into the penalty area. He'll take on Lindelof, and he's won a corner.
Excellent play from Vigna. He's run a full 50, 60 yards to make sure he gets up, supporting Dominic Solanke. Solanke just rolls him in down that left-hand side. To be fair, Varane just goes out, blocks Vigna's cross. Corner for Bournemouth on the left-hand side. The watcher will probably take it with his right foot in swinging. He's got
Jayden Anthony's taking it.
He's got to make sure that he misses the first man.
Joel Ward's equalised for Palace at Fulham, 2-2 with 7 minutes to play at Craven Cottage. Here at the Vitality Stadium, Anthony with a very deep corner, and it's way too deep in the end, and it will be cleared away by Casemiro on this near side. And the clearance from Casemiro doesn't find Garnacho, and Erik ten Hag just telling his team to calm down as the Watra takes a throw-in for Bournemouth. Back towards Lewis Cook again on the halfway line. And here is Zabanyi. 30 seconds of normal time to play. Good ball forward from Zabanyi. Watra heads it into the penalty area, and Lindelof, under no real pressure, just hammers it straight out of play for a throw into Bournemouth again, just in front of us.
Yeah, it's just Manchester United trying to see this game out. Just playing basically a 4-5-1 now, with Fred, Casemiro and McTominay in that central midfield area.
High ball towards Kiefer Moore, who nods down. Now Vigna finding Moore again. Moore works the 1-2 with Vigna into the penalty area. Luke Shaw makes the challenge, and in the end Casemiro, once again, calmness personified to bring it clear. Now Fred, challenged by Lerma, but the ball loops out to the far side, but Kelly gets there before Bruno Fernandes, but players brought back, and it will be a free kick for Manchester United.
Yeah, just a little bit late there from Kiefer Moore, just trying to make sure he's tracking back to try and nick the ball from Fred's toe. It's just whether Bournemouth now can conjure up that one last big chance to see if they can get themselves an equaliser.
On the balance of play, United probably deserved to win the game. We're into added time. I think it was 4 minutes, wasn't it, at the end of this game? Lindelof will take the free kick. And it's not been spectacular for Manchester United, but they'll take a 1-0 away win at this stage of the season. And if they can lock down the top four with 2 games to play, considering their start to the season after the opening 2 games, that's job done in many ways.
Well, they won't be in running tomorrow, will they, after they did against Brentford when they got beat 4-0?
No. Although Erik ten Hag did do the running for them as well.
Well, that was the start of Erik ten Hag just putting his mark on this Manchester United team, because he knew that there was a culture of complacency. I think he handled the Cristiano Ronaldo situation unbelievably well, because he wouldn't have wanted him at the beginning of the season, but he didn't want to be seen to be the one that forced him out. In the end, Ronaldo forced himself out.
And now, instead of Ronaldo up front, they've got Weghorst. But it's Bournemouth who get it launched, and Moore, the target of the long ball, but Casemiro steps up ahead of him, and Vigna has given the ball away. Garnacho down the centre, looking for Weghorst, who just turns. It's on to McTominay, but the side foot finish is saved, and it's gathered by Neto.
Well, Scott McTominay's got to get his wing mirrors on there, because as it comes in from Weghorst, Bruno Fernandes is totally unmarked over on the right-hand side of the 18-yard box. And to be fair, Fernandes is still showing his disgust as we speak. McTominay's not making eye contact, but he didn't make eye contact in the first place because he obviously didn't know he was there. But if he's got better vision, then Fernandes has a free run at goal.
2 minutes of added time played. Neto will take the free kick high up towards the edge of the penalty area. Kiefer Moore, squinting in the sunshine, tries to win it. Volley towards goal, and just over the top from Senesi. What an equaliser that would have been.
Brilliant technique from Senesi as the ball gets cleared. He's fully 25 yards out as the ball drops onto his left foot. He has a dipping volley. It has David De Gea scrambling to his right-hand side. just breathed a sigh of relief to see the ball fly off the crossbar.
Well, the former Feyenoord man does have a couple of goals this season, but that would have carried the highest profile as David De Gea just takes his time here into the closing stages of added time on TalkSport 2 at the Vitality Stadium. Manchester United still leading by a goal to nil. De Gea clears it long downfield. Weghorst will challenge with Senesi. It's given away by Cook. And now McTominay wide towards Garnacho again on this near side, but Vignette just holds him up and United are almost there. It's not been pretty, but it will be 3 more points and it will mean the Champions League.
Well, to be fair, United couldn't have gone any better, could it, for Manchester United and their travelling supporters over in that far right-hand corner of the Vitality Stadium.
Now Garnacho, but he's lost out. Fred wins it back. Here is McTominay, slid low into the penalty area, looking for Weghorst, and it's claimed by Neto. He wastes no time, hammers it downfield. Kiefer Moore leaping with Lindelof, but Lindelof does well to win that header. Now Casemiro plays it forward. It's all over, and Manchester United close in on the Champions League. Another away victory. Casemiro, the match winner, with his spectacular early goal. And they huffed and puffed at times, but they've got the job done. And they have the look of a team who know they will finish in the top 4. It is finished. AFC Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Nigel, thank you. Yeah, games still ongoing elsewhere in the top flight in the Premier League, but as things stand, Nigel rightly said a top 4 finish for Manchester United will be secured, meaning Champions League football next season at Old Trafford. A slightly different look up there with results as they stand this very second. Casemiro's goal just about enough today for United on the road. Perry Groves, your assessment though of Erik ten Hag's side today?
Well, I think it's just job done, to be fair. They haven't been particularly impressive away from home, Dan, have they, this season? They've lost 8 games. They started off very well the first 25-30 minutes. They were in total control. Casemiro getting a fantastic overhead volley to put them 1-0 up after 9 minutes. Bournemouth were obviously, as the home team, a bit too passive. Then Manchester United decided they're going to get a rest, for the sort of 10 minutes of that second half. And in the second